Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel which is Smilovers. Today we shall discuss Neet Mds in 4 months, how to grab your dream seat. In 2022, I appeared for the Neet Mds examination and I secured an All India rank of 141 and I pursued my post-graduation from Government Dental College, Jaipur, and I can share with you some tips as to how you can achieve it too. What should be the strategy in the last 4 months, what to do and what not to do. So let's begin with it. Number one and most important is smart work. Because we have a certain amount of time constraint, it is extremely important for us to know which books we need, which coaching institute is important and which test series to take. What if I told you that with respect to books, you're not supposed to read all the hefty textbooks. You don't have to go back and read Stewart and Schillenberg for Ortho, or you don't need to read English for Endo. All you have to do is your basic pulse. That's going to be your Bible. Although it might come across as strange to some of you, but that's the truth. Everybody who has secured a seat has done it by keeping the pulse as their Bible. Next up, you should read up the lecture notes that you get from your coaching institute and the app which is there in your coaching institute. Apart from that, if you were to read another MCQ book, I would recommend Dentist, but only for specific subjects, that is Endo, Ortho, Pedo, Anat and General Medicine. That's all. So the next question which is frequently asked is which coaching institute is the best? Although this question is highly debatable, I will tell you which one I attended. For me personally, I went to CDs. I took the online classroom course for 1 year, which included the test series and app and all the online lectures. So if you do the lecture notes and you do the app well, I think it's more than enough. The reason why I prefer CDs over other coaching institute is that I personally feel that the lectures are very time efficient. So they take few lectures where over a span of 1 week maybe they'll keep 2 lectures of 1.5 hours or short duration, then they'll cover ample amount of portion and they'll give like good notes. So for me, CDs was the deal breaker. See, it's very important to know that you might go to the best and the premium coaching institutes, but simply attending lectures is not going to help you all. What is going to boost your preparation is your self-study, your self-learning, your active learning procedure. That is what's going to help you the most. Next up, third and the most important thing in smart work is to book a test series. Now, if you have already enrolled for some coaching institute, you might already have a subscription of their test series. If not, you can always join some test series. So the strategy would be, if you have, let's say, a NEET examination in 4 months from now, let's say we have 19 subjects, 19 weeks. So what we would like to do is we would like to cover 1 or 2 subjects in 1 week, and we would also like to set apart maybe 1 hour or 2 hours daily separately for revision of other subjects. So second and the most important thing I feel is focus. If you are to appear for a national level examination, it's extremely important that you are focused on what's important, right? What this means is that we have to increase the number of our reading hours. If my examination is 4 months from now, anywhere between 8 to 10 to 12 hours of study is a good amount of energy put in. What you can do is you can limit your distractions, you can limit your screen time, your other distractions, going out, watching series, or playing some games on your phone. You can limit that. If you feel So some of us, we are not very used to studying for prolonged periods of time. So what we can do is we can add some stimulants, that okay, after 2 hours of study, let me take a break, let me go out for tea, let me get a cup of coffee, or things like that. You can stimulate yourself slightly. But the thing is that if you want to study for 8 hours, it's very doable. You set 2 hours target and you do it 4 times in one day, and then you will easily be able to do it. Another very important thing is that you have to take leave from other responsibilities. So let's say that some of us have been working in some clinics, or some of us are interning somewhere, or some of us are going for observership somewhere else, or some of us have household responsibilities. So it is very important that in the last 4 months, which is a crucial phase for your preparation, you take some time out. You take off from wherever it is that you are working, or you get some leaves, or you purely focus on that what is important, which is your national level examination, which is going to help you get a seat and pursue your dream branch. Another factor of paramount importance is revision, like instant revision. Let's say I have with me my MCQ book, my Pulse. It has 25 questions, let's say, in one page, and I've read my one page in, let's say, 10 minutes or whatever, 5 minutes, or let's say. Immediately after you finish reading one page of your MCQ book, it is important that you immediately revise all the 25 MCQs and you mark out the questions which are difficult, because later on when you carry on your revision cycles, it is these questions that are going to help you, because see, in the end you can't read everything. So it's important that in the beginning you plan out, you mark out, or you mark out those questions which are difficult, so in the end you can just revise those many questions. Next very important factor is micro notes. See, as I build my video, even for that I have certain amount of micro notes which I have made as to which points are discussed, which points are to be discussed, right? So if you are appearing for a national level examination, it's important that you have your own set of micro notes. I can guide you as to what are things you must cover in this micro notes. So we want to make some list, okay, beginning with number 1, list of authors, list of timings, values and numbers, list of bacteria in paleontology and microbiology, list of enzymes in biochemistry, list of births and their numbers in operative dentistry. Very important, you must list out all the questions which you are getting wrong in all the examinations that you are taking up. Picture based questions, often out of 240 questions, roughly you will get like 15-16 questions which are picture based. So for this you can simply bookmark it in the series app, or whichever coaching institute you have enrolled in, or you can simply take pictures and make a folder and compile it in your phone, so that you can quickly review all the picture based questions that are there, and you must make a list of all the classifications. See, I'll tell you honestly, usually the Neet Mds paper is quite straightforward. Let's say amongst 240 questions, 170 questions will be very straightforward, direct questions maybe from Pulse, or maybe they'll slightly change the question. Let me give you an example. So if you know all your classifications very well, let's say, let me give you an example. Let's say there's a classification of zones of dental caries, right? So 1 year, let's say they asked a question as to which is the zone 1 of dental caries. So maybe after 3 years or 4 years, they can frame another question on the same lines, like which is the zone 3 of dental caries, or maybe they'll give you a picture based question related to this. So if you know your basics well, if you know your classification well, if you have put in that extra amount of energy, if you have put in that extra 10 minutes to jot down the names of authors and to compile those little things, and if you keep revising those little things over and over again, then definitely you are going to have a cutting edge over other aspirants and you'll definitely do well. Number 4 is slightly shocking. No textbooks required. Yeah. Irrespective of what gimmicks some people try to sell you and tell you that, oh, I referred to 100 books and then I cracked the examination. I'll be very honest with you. Except for few subjects like anatomy, DD Chaurasia is a must because you must know all the nerves and veins and anatomy and diagrams. So except for few subjects, that is number 1, anatomy. You need to know the basics well. So you must do it from DD Chaurasia and from dentist. For biochemistry, limited amount of cycles and names of enzymes from Satyanarayan. That's going to help. And from ortho, Balaji, I believe, gives a fair idea for an MCQ based examination, NEET oriented. So apart from this, you don't have to dive into textbooks and see, because we have limited amount of time with us. Right now we have 4 months to prepare, and for the new batch which is now going to prepare, the maximum you are going to have is like 12 to 15 months of time for preparation, and we want to use this wisely. What we want to do is, we want to revise limited content multiple times so that when the time comes, because we have 19 subjects, so that when the time comes, our brain is efficiently enabled to revise and recollect on the day of examination. So yeah. Now, what is the alternative to doing these textbooks is, you can't just simply mug up the MCQ questions and then expect to excel. So the alternative to these textbooks is, you have to do your synopsis well. You must do it pit-pat so that any question, if it is twisted and turned around, you should be able to answer it well. If you do your synopsis well, what happens is that all the syndromes, enzymes, cycles, name of authors, numerical values, everything is covered in it. So what we want to do is, we want to set time-bound targets, right? Which is why we are holding on to our pulse, our synopsis, our MCQs, instead of doing massive jargons of all the standard textbooks, because it is practically not possible to read everything in a limited amount of time. Of course, for your knowledge, if you want to go ahead and read all of it, it's good, but we have a certain amount of time limit and we want to set time-bound targets. And we want to make sure to cover our entire syllabus. See, what happens is, what I have usually observed is that when students usually begin their preparation, they spend a lot of time in the beginning with whichever subject it is that they start, Like let's say I spend a lot of time doing anatomy, I do it for 3 weeks. And then in the end, what happens is that instead of finishing 19 subjects, I've only finished, let's say 11 or 12 subjects. What will happen in such a situation is that you'll not be able to attempt even the simple straightforward questions from other subjects. So that will give you a certain amount of setback, which we don't want to happen, right? Which is why we are going to give 1 week for one subject, and we are going to cover the synopsis and all the MCQ questions very well, and textbooks only for 3 subjects. Number 5, set mini goals. What happens is, when we keep our goals short, time oriented, we are often able to achieve it. We can do this by planning our day instead of planning big things. Let's first begin with planning small things. So let's say I have my entire day and my goal is that I want to read for, let's say, 8 hours or 10 hours. So what I'll do is I'll divide my day into 2 halves. Okay, let's say first half, second half. First half I'll try to study for 4 hours. Second half I'll try to study for 4 hours. What I'll do is, oftentimes our brain is not able to focus on a single thing for prolonged periods of time. So let's say we can do 2 subjects together. Maybe we can take up one easy subject and one difficult subject, and 4 hours each, and we can keep an additional 1 to 2 hours aside for revision. In those 1 to 2 hours, what we can do is we can read up the micro notes which we are preparing, or we can read up the difficult questions which we have marked out in our pulse. So that's how we build our knowledge, by revising daily. Now, for those of you who are not probably very well versed as to which are the high yielding subjects, let me just give you a quick review as to which are the high yielding or difficult subjects. So usually what happens is, oral path is 28 questions out of 240. So it's a must do. If you are, if you just completed your internship and you are about to begin your preparation, you must start with oral path. It's 28 questions. We have perio, which is 14 to 16 questions. We have ortho, which is again 14 to 16 questions. Dental materials, community and surgery, again 14 to 16 questions, important. Medicine is usually 10 to 12 questions, but it is best done from dentist. And like the basic systems, if you know your blood well, CVS well, endocrine well, respiratory well, these 4-5 topics, if you do well in your general medicine, like if you prepare thoroughly, then I'm sure you will be able to get most of the questions correct in general medicine. Because what I've usually observed is that students are often fearful related to the medical subjects more so than the dental subjects. If you have like recently finished your final year, then doing all the final year subjects will be easy for you. But taking up the medical subjects might be slightly, challenging for some of us, which is why we can do what's more important. Clinical subjects, prostho, endo, oral surgery, relatively easy for dental students to prepare. If you have time and if you are, well versed with your preparation, you can do pulse as well as skin test for these subjects. But usually I recommend one MCQ book for one subject. So for me it was dentist for endo, and prostho and surgery I have covered from pulse itself. Anatomy is very crucial. It is going to come for like 14 questions for sure, and you must do your DDC well for anatomy. You must read your dentist. I think if you do your chorussia and dentist well, you will get all your MCQ questions correct. Last but not the least in the major subjects is pharmac. I know that most people find it difficult to remember the names of so many drugs and so many classifications. But if you know like the 10 most important questions, like, we have NSAIDs and all those questions. If you know those 10 systems well in your pharmac, if you start systematically, I think if you are associated with series, and if if you stay parallel with whatever Ryzen sir is teaching you, if you read up one topic, in 1 week's time, then also you'll be able to do it. I would highly recommend, like some people find it difficult and leave it, but please do not leave any subject at all, because it's going to be the game changer. See, the rank deciding factor are these small things. Like if you leave a subject, then it's going to be difficult for you to get your dream rank and grab your dream seat. So you try to finish it off, just do it from your pulse. For pharmac, of course, Parsh Gupta is the better book to read. Like I didn't do my pharmac from pulse. For pharmac, I read Parsh Gupta. even for I think pathology, general pathology, if you want to read Sparsh Gupta, it's a very nice book. If you just read those tables and those points, and there are certain points to remember and certain tables. If you read Sparsh Gupta specifically for these two subjects, then of course there will be a slight amount of change in the rank that you are going to receive in the end. It's all going to be worth it. In the easy subjects, of course, we have dental histology, dental anatomy, radiology, microbiology. See, what happens is, pathology, of course, what happens is, whichever subjects are combined, let's say micro and patho. So the weightage changes over here. So it is 7 questions micro and 7 questions patho. So which is why we want to limit the time that we are going to give to these subjects. Let's say I'm going to do ortho, which is like 16 questions. I'll do it with some easier subject like dental histology, which is only 7 questions, so that I can balance out the time that is there. I can give more time to ortho and I can give less time to dental anatomy or dental histology or microbiology. See, subjects like these, if you are reading pulse, 2 to 3 days time is more than enough if you are doing it for the entire day. That is, let's say 8 hours a day into 25 hours is more than enough. Set like time limits for yourself. Don't think that okay, until I get just read it quickly and finish it, and then come back and revise. Next week you come back to the same page and you revise the same thing, but don't spend a lot of time doing these things. And biochem, 7 questions each. See, if you are studying, usually you can do physio and medicine together. See, for physio and medicine, I have also like enrolled for DBMC. I had their app. DBMC NDS experts. So they had given crash courses subject wise. So they had some very good teachers. Like I had taken up the subject wise physio and medicine course by Dr. Jasmine Lal. So it was very fruitful. It was very nice. So they teach the concepts of physio and medicine together. So it's good if you would want to watch. They have their YouTube channel as well. So if you want to watch only snippets of certain things like acidosis and alkalosis and certain things which might appear as foreign Greek and Latin subjects to you, you can also go to YouTube and check out small videos and prep physio and medicine together. It's going to be beneficial. Physio is 7 questions, biochem is 7 questions, and pedo is 14 questions, but pedo is a relatively easy subject. So that's how you divide your day, and that's how you plan your day and organize and study well.